Today I'm again here with you with another topic, that is natures of management. For this one particular chapter, you have to remember this difference that in this chapter, features and natures are the two different things. Here, feature and nature is not same. Because remember, we are talking about a discipline. Management is a domain. Management is a discipline. So how has this discipline or domain has arrived? This is being discussed under the concept called nature of management. So broadly speaking, management's nature has its three different wings to discuss, because these are the three major subject domain we talk of today, that is science, art or profession. So we will discuss all these three major domain under this video, and we'll also check how relevant any of the three domain in respect to management these days. So let us start this concept with as management as science. If we talk about science, science has its major characteristics, that is, science is a systematized body of knowledge. We say science is a systematized body of knowledge. What does it mean? Science follows a system. The system is based on cause and effect relationship. So in science principle, whether it's being a Newton's law or it's being an Archimedes principle, whatever principles you see that there is a basic cause, and then each cause pertaining to its separate effect, which makes science a systematized body of knowledge. Talking about the next, that is, science principles are usually based on observations and experiments. There are a lot of experiments, and then each experiments has their different observations. When the scientists and the testers combined all those observation results together, they come up to a conclusion, and then a particular science principle. This is how a particular science principle derived off. So we have seen that repeated lab tests are required under different controlled conditions to make a science principle feasible and to check its relevance. Next is, science principles are universal valid. The validity of science principles are universal, which means the degree of application remains the same. In whatever situation, in whatever place the principles of science once proven are applied, we find that the degree of their applications remain the same. And at the end, the principles of science are highly rigid. We cannot change them as per our own uncontrolled situation or in any dynamic situation. So this is all about science principles. Let us check how relevant these principles in case of management. If we talk about science as a systematic body of knowledge, so yes, management itself is a systematic body of knowledge because it is developed over a period of time. There's a great cause and effect, and so many testimonies have been collected to create and develop management principles. There is a separate topic in your book called NCERT, that is evolution of management. You must read this topic, or some other day I will pick up this topic, that is evolution of management. Evolution tells us that how does management evolve over a period of time. Therefore, we can say yes, this presence of science is practically applicable in management. So if we see only this principle, yes, management is a science. Talking about the next principle, that is, it is based on observation and experiments. You can see that there is no lab test. We can't do any lab testing. We cannot do any experiment and observation thing, because management is a study of human behavior. It is not studying machine and material. We are studying human behavior. So human behavior is subject to change. It cannot remain constant under any of the situation, or even it varies person to person. So we can say that this principle of science does not match or does not go with management. Next, Universal validity, yes, as the degree of application of science remains same whatever the place be, but then degree of application of management principles changes due to changing human behavior. So you can say it also varies as per situation. In a given situation, a person may laugh, or in a given situation, a person may cry. So what we can say that it is all about human behavior. It's all about study of nature of an individual. Therefore, the application will surely be varying as per the situation. Talking about the next, that is rigidity. The nature of science principles are, they are highly rigid in nature. We cannot change them because they are already tested under a given controlled situation. But if we change the situation, definitely the outcome may change because they are abide by the cause and effect relationship. But when we talk about flexibility, management principles are flexible in nature. They are not rigid as science. So this feature of science also does not match with management. So after making a full-fledged analysis, the conclusion will be management cannot be considered as pure science. Management is not a pure science. Clear? In the same continuation, when we see that science does not fulfill all the features of being management, which means management cannot be considered as a pure science. Moving on to the next domain, that is art. Similarly, we will compare the features of art to prove that whether the management is a pure art or not. So the very first feature of art is, art, for being an artist, there has to have some theoretical knowledge. There has to have presence of some theoretical knowledge. Here theoretical knowledge is all about knowing the concepts, knowing the principle, knowing the different terms. Be it any form of art, be it sculpture, be it visual art, being performing art, being literature, being it anything, any domain of knowledge, any domain of art, any form of art requires some basic knowledge of the different terms, concepts and principles used therein. Similarly, the next feature of art says, art is a very, very personalized application. Everybody who performs or plays or have knowledge of the same kind of art and the same concept, but the effect of their application of art varies because it is very, very personalized application. Mr. Javed Habib may be one of the world famous hair expert. So he has some uniqueness in the designs of haircut or the hair treatment he offers. Which means what? The art has a very, very personalized, person-specific application. Therefore, this makes it a pure format of art. Next, art is always and always based on practice and creativity. The more you practice, the more you imagine, the more you initiate and innovate, then you will able to master your skill. Definitely, so art is a skillful application of defined domain knowledge. When you skillfully apply your knowledge and the concepts and principles, it makes you a more creative artist. Let us compare the feature of arts in management. If we say there is a presence of theoretical knowledge, the answer becomes yes. Management has its own set of principles, concepts and terms to be used. Right? Next, personalized application. Yes again, because every manager knows the same terms, the same concept, the same principle, but not everybody is equally effective, because there again the effect varies managers to managers, because it is all depending upon their imaginative skills, their initiative, their innovation and the creative skills. Coming to the next, that is art is also based on practice and creativity. The answer is again yes. Art management is also based on practice and creativity. As we say that experience creates the best manager, because through experience, a manager has been gone through a variety of situations, and under variety of situation, a manager must have experienced diversity, and where in diverse situation, in changing environment, he would have practiced, he would have skillfully applied all his knowledge, which makes him a perfect, or you can say the most creative as well as effective manager. So with this, we can say that yes, management fulfills all the qualities to be an art. So if you ask me to make a comparison that management, whether being a science or being an art, the conclusive evidence is management is not a science, but it is a pure form of art. It is all application and study of human behavior.